This is section 2.4, part 3, where we are still writing equations. This time we're going to write an equation when we're given 2 points. And I've got 3 different pieces of information down here that are important when you're given 2 points. The first thing you're going to want to do is find the slope, using the slope formula. Once you find the slope, you're going to choose either of the 2 points. It doesn't matter. You can pick this point or the second point and use the slope, and you're going to write an equation in point-slope form, which we just did in the previous video. And then lastly, once you have the equation in point-slope form, you will rewrite the equation so it's in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And again, we did that in the previous video. So the only addition really is finding slope, because it's not given to us. So I've got our problem here. I've got the ordered pair -2, 4, and the second ordered pair 3, -1. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is find our slope. So m equals, remember the slope formula is the change in y over the change in x, rise over run. So I've got my y2, we'll make that -1, -1 minus y1. Since I started with this point, I need to start with this point again, so my x2 is 3 minus my x1, which is -2. So -1 minus 4 gives me -5. 3 minus -2 is like plus a +2. So 3 plus 2 is +5. So it looks like my slope is -1. So we've got m equals -1, and now I need to pick a point. So I'll pick the first point. So we're going to use the point -2, 4. And we know our slope is now -1. Alright, and I'm going to want to write my equation in point-slope form. So if you remember, point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1, where our point, the ordered pair, is taking the form x1, y1. So I've got y minus my y1, which is 4, equals my m, which is -1, times x minus my x1, which is -2. So that's really y minus 4 equals -1 times x plus a positive, so plus 2. I'm going to distribute in my -1. So I have y minus 4 equals -x minus 2. And then lastly, add over my 4. So I'm going to say plus 4. And we will see y equals -x plus 2, because this canceled. And there's our equation. Alright, it's in y equals mx plus b form. Now I'm going to do this problem a second time, just to prove something to you. When you guys are doing your homework problem, you only need to do it once. But if you're questioning whether it's going to be true if I use the other point, I'm going to prove that it is true. So we're going to go through this process one more time, and I'm going to use the point 3, -1. Right, and I'm going to still use my m, which is -1. So I'm using my second point. So we're going to go through the whole process again. So we've got y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Right, so I'm going to plug in my y1, which is -1. So I've got y minus -1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1, which is x minus 3. So this is like plus a positive. And I did not substitute in my m here. My m is -1, sorry. So I'm going to distribute in my -1. So it's like y plus 1, because I added a positive. Got -x plus 3. So -1 times x is -x. -1 times -3 is +3. And then the last thing I need to do is bring over my 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0. And I have y equals -x. 3 minus 1 is plus 2. And if you'll notice, each of these two equations are the same. And they should be, all right, because they're really the same line. They're just passing through different points up here. So that's why it doesn't matter which point you choose. Ultimately, you're going to end up with the same answer. Okay, let's do a second problem. This will be the last one. Sometimes the points are going to be given to you graphically. So that you're going to have a coordinate plane, xy coordinate plane. So I've got my x-axis here, my y-axis here, and the graph is going to be given to you. So you need to identify the points in this graph. So I see it passes through the y-intercept here, which is at 0, 1. And it also passes through this point way over here. So that's -1, 2, 3, -4, -1. So those are the 2 points I'm going to use. So I've got 0, 1 as one point, and -4, -1. So the first thing I need to do is, again, find my slope. So m equals the change in y over the change in x. So I've got my y2 is -1 minus my y1, +1. My x2, which is -4, minus my x1, which is 0. So I've got -1 minus 1 is -2 over -4 minus 0 is -4. So my m simplifies to 1/2. Alright, so I got an m of +1/2. And now I get to pick a point. So I'm going to pick this first point of 0, 1. And I know m is +1/2. I'm going to use the point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. I'm going to plug in my value of y1. So that's 1. So I've got y minus 1 equals 1/2 times the quantity x minus x1 is 0. I'm going to distribute in the 1/2. So I've got y minus 1 equals 1/2 x minus 1/2. And then lastly, bring over my 1. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. The 1's cancel. And I get y equals 1/2 x, -1 plus -1/2 plus 1 is +1/2. So there's my equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1/2. And it's in y equals mx plus b form. Y equals mx plus b. That's it.